Hey everyone, friends, boxers. Today we've got a workout on the heavy bag. Watch and enjoy. You really got it swinging. But now you need to focus on two things. The first thing is, this isn't about perfecting your punch. It's just about getting used to it. Getting used to two things, actually. Getting used to the distance and getting used to the physics of the punch itself, to the muscle mechanics behind it. So you understand, because in boxing, there are a lot of different types of punches. But really, they all come down to just two main types. Just so it's clear for you. The first is the classic punch technique. The second is the ballistic punch technique. There's also a third punch technique, which, as they say, boxing teaches you three things. So first, it's how to do it right, the classic way. The classic style is the achievement of world boxing, of all boxing worldwide. The second aspect is dirty boxing, or as they call it, farmers boxing, basically a street fight. And you need to go through all of that too. You just need to know it for sure. And the third option. That's when, from the first and second, you develop your own style. You start looking for your own punches. Why do you need all these different forms of punching practice? Gradually, step by step, you come to your own form. The one that comes from the ballistic, the classic style, the farmer style, any style really. But you find your very own manner. It's your own time and your own distance. Because, as they say, doing, there are no copies of yourselves. There's no point in that. But to create, how should I put it, something unique that a person has, and to bring out that uniqueness from them, that's what's cool. Because all of our individual boxers are quite different, right? They all go through pretty much the exact same schools, and they're taught by basically the same fundamental principles and so on, but every single person is still unique. And even the same punch is thrown quite differently in a real fight. That is just how it naturally is. That's all there is to it. It can happen. You might end up following a scenario that no one knows, and you have to be ready for that scenario, right? That's why your first forms are single, just single punches that get you used to the punching distance. Now look, about the classic technique. The classic technique. You throw the punch until your legs are straightened. This is the moment you need to catch. Your stance is kind of on your back leg. And by pushing off with your leg, you achieve the straightening of that leg. That's how you need to learn to punch. Because that's one of the strongest punches. The only thing about this punch is that the hip doesn't come all the way through. Because the tension in your leg stays, especially when you push off or use a shuffle step, you load it up. And what happens is your back leg can lag behind. In a real fight, this happens all the time. So you stretch out onto your leg, keep the tension in your leg, and you just can't rotate that part of your hip. It barely moves at all. It just opens up a little like this, and that's it. So most of the power comes from the push-off and shift in your body weight. With a ballistic punch, it's the other way around. You bring your body forward and lean it slightly. This way, you take the tension off the back part, and you bring it out roughly to the center, although there are some nuances to it. Some boxers, especially American pros, actually lean all the way onto their leg. Why do they do that? They do it to take the load off the leg and really engage the hip. It's about accelerating the hip. This punch will be faster. It won't be as powerful as a punch with body weight behind it, but it makes up for it with speed. You gain more momentum that way. So it's not really that one is better than the other. They're just different types of punches. In some cases, the classic model works really well with a step or a jump, but the ballistic model uses a short step. It's a short step. So basically, the lunge is almost in place. And with a ballistic punch, your elbow's bent. So it comes out like this. Just so you really get what I mean. You know, it's kind of like a whip. So when you don't go straight through, because tensing your whole arm and running the tension through all the muscles, first of all, that's hard. And second, there's also a nuance with speed. It's really tough when your whole arm is flying out. And it's really hard to clench it because the muscle tension happens one after another. So to get it all working together as one unit, you just, with a bent elbow, and it turns out to be like a scorching strike. And the second point, which is absolutely necessary, at least in the training version, if you were throwing a classic straight punch and you try to fully straighten your elbow, remember there's only about a 10-degree allowance, so you don't accidentally overextend it. Then, when compared with the ballistic system, your arm is always kept slightly bent, and your entire body is always leaning over the hip area. Now, when it comes to the main conditioning drills, what works best is, well, I really like this system where boxers shuffle their feet. So they're shuffling like this, little by little, gradually. They get used to this line. Over time, you need to learn to punch forward, to the left, to the right, while stepping, while half-stepping. In other words, in all these different variations. And the most interesting part is you start circling around the heavy bag. So when you start moving around it, that's when you really begin to play with it. That is, when you're already playing, when you can really play with the bag and you understand it. Specifically, from the perspective of your own distance, and you start setting these rules for yourself in your head. It's kind of about instilling the habit of paying attention to switching your shoulders, making sure you have those turning movements. Because if you don't have those turning movements, you won't have any power. I mean, sure, you can kind of push from halfway, but that's only if you're really strong. It's much easier when one shoulder replaces the other, and that's it. So now, little by little, just start by swinging your arms. Just swing your arms. It doesn't even matter what stance you're in. Just throw your arms around. Let's see how your arms move. Completely relax. Relax all the way. Good job. Stop. That's enough. Look, when you swing your arms, see, I barely move my body at all. See? Only the arms are working. Now, try to use what they call the whip. Try to activate that with a bent arm so it moves for you. And when you already know the distance, when you already know part of the distance completely, relax your arm fully and try to catch that distance in the fight. Actually, it's quite dangerous to do this because if your distance changes even a little bit, your wrist will gradually get injured over time. So for now, just throw with your hands. You really need to be very careful here. Now look. Now try the same thing, but this time throw with your hands and really get your shoulders moving fully. And lean forward just a little bit. Just a little so you lean forward a bit. And again, it's kind of like a whip motion. So once you start having fun with it here, your shoulders start moving well, and before you know it, your hips get involved too. It's just natural. The system works a bit in reverse, so let me repeat. This is really, really important. At the very beginning, you need to walk on a really solid path so there aren't any bumps or holes. If you start putting your foot down and doing that dance for longer, you'll just be learning for a while. Now look, as soon as your hips start getting involved, really pay attention to your front leg so you can catch your hips at exactly the right moment and straighten your leg to get that kind of snap to generate more power. See? You can go all the way. Again, I'm telling you, this isn't about throwing a punch yet. These are just exercises that will help you when you start throwing punches. Because it's not really correct to practice certain punches on the heavy bag. Some of them you just can't do there. That's what the punching bag is for. They come in a variety of different sizes. Now take another look. You don't have to jump, but you do need to really feel this system. Your shoulders, the energy coming from below, the push from your back leg, and the rotation. Everything should come together right here. It's better to practice it this way for now. Let's go, right in place. You're moving a little off your axis. You're really leaning, starting to tip over. Yeah, now look, set your right, and now just switch your right to your left. And one more time. See, that's it. Now, when you're about to switch hands, straighten this knee. Straighten it. You lean too much, turn too hard, but just a little more. Watch closely. This is essentially your ideal form. This is exactly how you generate maximum power and start to switch your weight. This is the primary effect right here, specifically with your elbow. You might even find yourself hopping up just a little bit. That's actually perfectly okay. You can choose to do it with or without that extra movement. But this elbow jump, well, the specifics are a bit different here. Because in a fight, like I said, you'll have to circle around, wind up, and there are all sorts of variations. Right now, we're just focusing on these basic things. So your elbow might pop up a little, just like bam, bam, and your shoulder. It absolutely has to come right up to your cheek. Go ahead. Just a little, and your hand goes right here. Go ahead. There you go. Straighten it up. Straighten it out. You should really play off of it. Play off it. The movement is very simple. See, you still have tension in your legs. So when you throw the punch, bam, you still have that tension left. It's better to get rid of that tension altogether. Because, like I said, once you throw it, you need to immediately switch to some other defensive position. You might have to move around or use some other technique. That's why bam, bam, on a solid foot, when all your muscles are fully engaged and working, the impulse is released. Now just throw some punches, and this time start moving around a little bit, just little by little. Yeah, look, you can stand in your stance and gradually, just gradually, change your stance. So you can slowly get used to moving around, because like I said, you'll need to go both right and left. You'll have to move in all directions. But if you only stick to one style, you'll end up, like they say, a one-armed boxer, always in the same position. That was my coach's signature philosophy. He would make that clear to you from the very first moment. If you throw punches from the right, then throw from the left too. If you work from one stance, then work from the other as well. So you have perfect accuracy and precision both ways, just like a mirror. Let's go. Relax. See, these are completely different punches. Try throwing hooks. Stop. Why not? Well, that kind of punch can work too. Yeah, it's a bit far, ho, because when you start to reach, the angle opens up too much. And, well, there's a high risk of injury. Here, look. This is actually just, a helpful personal tip from my coach for me. So when you know the distance exactly, you can bring your body in closer. Here's a straight punch. See? Just bring your body in closer. You can throw a punch like this, right? Or you can throw a punch like this. See? Straight punches from the side. Here, especially with hooks, the shoulder rotation really matters. And one more thing, an important point. When you're working, don't drop your hands. You know, some people even do this. You eventually get used to it, you know, especially when a coach constantly makes a boxer keep their hands up high like blinders all the time. You really have to work from these specific positions, pulling your hand back quickly like this. 1, 2. Now, why exactly do they make you do this? It is so you can always see your own hands clearly, so they don't just drift away somewhere else. 1, 2. You can do it this way too. 1, 2. Your hand will start reaching out on its own every time, so you won't have to think about it anymore. Now, let's move on to hooks. Farther, 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 Alicia. Good, good, good. Good. One more time. Take a close look at the twist and see exactly what that twist is. Yeah, you add a little rotation everywhere. So your leg rotates your hip, your arm rotates, your wrist rotates, everything rotates. We rotate here to keep the exact distance. And honestly, those debates are still pointless. Whether you should punch with a cup shape or the classic form, you need to punch both ways. Especially since when it goes to the head, you can get some really interesting angles. You can throw a punch from that kind of rotation. Your arm can be in pretty much any position, as long as it's positioned correctly and you don't end up breaking it. Got it? Let's do it one more time. Throw a straight, a hook, and an uppercut. Just hit in your own style, the way you like to punch. Just hit the bottom of the bag kind of downward. Just watch how it swings for you. This is also one of the fundamental training exercises from the traditional frontal stance. Here, your main goal is to build up that momentum. That's why your bag, see, it hangs in one position. Then you really start knocking it out, and you actually start driving it with your legs. See ya? It's like a semicircle. Go ahead, Yosh. Don't rush, don't rush. Make your strike more confident. Now a single strike, as they say, a power shot. Again, about the elbow. Do not straighten it just yet. You can position yourself a bit closer than usual because that is exactly what you are going to need here. You need to understand how to generate all that body momentum, how it works, and gradually add to your position. When you throw this kind of punch, your fist should be here. Don't put it over here, and don't put it over here. Bring it out right here, just like this. And make sure to watch your hand. This is a very short, effective punching distance. I'm telling you again, it's this part right here. This is absolutely necessary for that explosive power, so you can set up the initial pushing motion and the downward chopping movement, what will start to rotate for you. So it turns out just like this. The moment he comes at you, you already start to apply pressure. Believe it or not, you just want to use your legs. You just want to do this move right here. But you can't yet. This is just a drill. It's called a swing, so to speak. A punch from the swing. That's when you strike from the backswing. That is exactly why I told you to watch your hand very carefully like this. You see, it is all connected together, and that is all there is to it. In sync. 1, 1, and the turn, and the push. Well, if you tense your shoulder, 1, just 1 actually. What? 1, 1, 1. Slowly, slowly, calmly, calmly, and gradually building up. Just a little bit slowly like this. And then gently let it all out. Keep pulling, keep pulling. Look right here. We have another thing to focus on. There you go, just like that. Now lean back, drive all your weight back into it. Keep pushing it. That is looking really good now. And then you stop it, meaning you don't have that full body movement. It's very short. You know, something's off. And again, really try to feel it, just like this. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Now, this isn't exactly what you'd call a full strike. Rather, it is more of a deliberate preparatory strike. It's specifically a preparatory movement of turning and pushing. That's why you position yourself facing toward the bag, so you can spin yourself and completely turn around. This is a very powerful strike. Again, see, you move back and then struck. These aren't all the exercises, not even close. These are just the basic ones. Here's another point for the next training session. We'll be breaking down serial pairs and combinations, what a combination is. How many series can be in one combination? Yeah, you can have even 100 if you want, because in a combination, you already weave in some feints, some moves like that. But these specific kinds of forms, for example, defensive actions, here is one particular way to weave them in that is really, really effective. And that is when, in a very simple combination, say a left-right straight, you add a quick pullback. Bam, bam, then a sharp pullback. So this too gets drilled in consistently until everything comes together gradually over time. Again, I'm telling you, when it comes to boxing equipment, like the heavy bag, at first it's better to work with a coach because you could mess up your hands in 5 seconds. That's why you need to take it slow, step by step. If you hit with improper technique even once on a bone that's not yet strong, you can end up suffering for the rest of your life. So take it slow, step by step. Get your whole body used to the impact. So watch and observe. Wishing you kindness and love. See you next time.